Saquon Barkley asking Najee Harris to continue this trend of building the value back up of the running back position. Also, Cam Sutton turns himself into the Hillsboro County Sheriff's Department, and Tyler Boyd did get a contract offer from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers aren't prepared to budge off of that contract. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's talk about all that and much, much more here on Mike Drop Sports as we move through our Monday edition of the show. Welcome back. I hope everybody enjoyed their Easter weekend, as did I. What a great weekend, and I hope you all had one also. But let's dive into the Steelers news as we inch toward this NFL draft that's coming up at the end of the month. Things are going to really start to heat up here now that we're getting toward the draft. Teams are really starting to get these rosters constructed for the 2024 season. Teams are going to really start getting things in place and getting ready for mini camps and OTAs and the offseason programs in general. And these teams are really starting to square up and get their eyes set on exactly what they want to do with their 2024 roster. Ahead of the draft, there may be some trades, there may be some movement, there may be some big things that still happen for your Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's continue to talk about how this Steelers team is being constructed now. A run-first, run-heavy type team with Arthur Smith, a guy that maybe even is a dinosaur in a way that he wants to use a fullback and things like that. Maybe that is adjusted a little bit. Maybe he uses more of like an H-back type guy out there as opposed to a true fullback. We don't know, but we'll see how that all unfolds. But let's dive into this Najee Harris story first, because he is going to be an integral part of the Pittsburgh Steelers run game in 2024, and I think they hope that he is part of it moving forward. However, I don't think that they're willing to separate with boatloads and truckloads of cash for Najee Harris. I just don't think so. I don't think that that's the way the Steelers are looking right now. I think they would pay him fairly, but I don't think that they would be willing to break the bank for a Saquon Barkley type deal, because Najee isn't that. So let's continue to look at this as Najee Harris is called to action here by Saquon Barkley to continue to say, man, we're not taking those fifth-year options. The fifth-year option for Najee would be what? 6.8 million, 6.7 million moving into the 2025 season. If the Steelers don't figure something out pre-May 2, they have to sign the fifth-year option or let him be a free agent in 2025. Those are their options. And are the Steelers going to be able to work out a long-term deal with Najee? I think if they would try to get something done in the ballpark of a $6 million a year, maybe 2-year deal or something like that, maybe that would be something that Najee would be interested in. But I think these running backs are looking to really increase the value of the position again and really bring it back to the limelight as a position of high value. And you've saw the value of that position diminish over the last few years. But Najee, being a guy that's now in the position of either getting that fifth year or getting a new contract or exploring the free agency market. And I think Najee Harris would have value out there if he were able to be a free agent. Do I think that he would break the bank and get a Saquon Barkley type deal? I don't think so. I just don't. That's my personal opinion. Some may think that he would. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, what do? You have Jalen Warren behind him. You just signed Patterson, a guy that can play a little bit of running back, play a little bit of wide receiver, return kicks. Yes, he's on the back end of his career as an older guy. How does that help you? You did sign him for a 2-year deal, so you'll have him in 2025. Are your plans to allow Najee Harris to go out and sample that free agent market and see what happens, and then try to figure out a deal if nothing pops out to Najee? I think if you're Najee Harris, you need to really sit down and try to think of a deal here with the Pittsburgh Steelers ahead of May 2. And I think it would be wise for the Steelers too, beneficial for the Steelers to continue to hold on to Najee. But I think the Steelers are not going to be willing to just go out there and give him whatever he's asking for. I don't think that that's going to happen. And the Steelers just aren't that way. They typically just don't do those types of things. Go out there and just throw monster money at the running back position like that. They did a little bit for Le'Veon Bell, but he refused the contract and went and signed with the Jets for $30 million fully guaranteed. In that contract, he got more, but that was just what was fully guaranteed. So we'll see how the Steelers structure something and maybe try to figure it out with Najee Harris moving forward. But the running backs are really trying to band together to increase that value is really what I'm getting at here. And don't look for Najee Harris to just give some hometown discount because that's the team he played his rookie contract with. The whole idea of this is to get to that second contract if you're an NFL player. That's where you start to get paid. That's where you start to really make and earn your value as you inch toward, the middle part of your career. That second contract is where you start to make some money, and I don't think Najee Harris is willing to miss out on it, as many running backs. They're really trying to increase that value. So we'll see how that all goes. Also, Tyler Boyd was offered a contract, right around when free agency really was getting hot and heavy, and most people predicted that he was going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, that it was like a shoo-in, that he was coming back to his hometown team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. He played his college and collegiate football with the Pitt Panthers. He played his high school football with the Clareton Bears. Amazing careers in both places. Just really a hometown guy that is loved by many in the city of Pittsburgh. But you're looking at Tyler Boyd now probably wanting $6 to $8 million a year. That's at least the rumors out there, more toward the $8 million mark per season. Is Tyler Boyd worth that, first of all? Is he going to get that anywhere? I don't think he's going to get that anywhere. I just don't. I think there were teams in on Tyler Boyd and still in on Tyler Boyd. But you look at the Steelers bringing in a guy like Van Jefferson, bringing in a Watkins, and neither one of those do I think affect if they were able to get Tyler Boyd. I don't think that would affect that signing. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers want something more along the lines of maybe $6 to $8 million for 2 years, like $3 to $4 million a season. I think that's the max that they're willing to go. Now, do I know this to be true and 100%? No. But just looking at the numbers, looking at how things are playing out, looking at the other teams that supposedly had interest, that's the numbers I'm kind of coming up with in my head that the Pittsburgh Steelers probably offered Tyler Boyd. It's an affordable number for the Steelers to add veteran presence to that wide receiver room, and I think that that's what they were aiming for. I think the offer's still on the table, and I think if Tyler Boyd was smart himself and the representation that represents him would think to themselves, the draft is quickly approaching. We're going to have to make a move soon because this is a very deep wide receiver draft, and teams know that across the NFL. And they're not going to go out and overpay for a guy that's on the back end of his career, that's closer to being done as opposed to playing, So the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't going to be foolish. They're not going to go out there and pay monster money for a guy that's on the back end of his playing days. And if you're the Steelers, you're looking at Tyler Boyd and you're saying, yeah, we give you $8 million for 1 year. You cash a big check. What if we don't get no production? What if you are done? They're not willing to do that, guys. And Tyler Boyd really probably should really evaluate this and say to himself, hey, how many more years do I want to play in the NFL? And if I do take one of these lower number deals, not small, because these aren't small numbers they're dealing with, guys. These are numbers that make you rich. But anyway, taking that number, looking at it if you're Tyler Boyd and saying to yourself, man, let's make this contract in a way that, hey, in year 2 of this contract, maybe I can get paid a little bit more, and we can tear this deal up if I really, really produce and show the team that I still have a lot of value. Maybe that is the path that you take in order to maybe cash in one more time if you're Tyler Boyd before your NFL career is over. Taking a little bit less money now and trying to turn that into a bet on yourself type thing. Taking a deal from the Steelers that's around $3 million per season to be there in your hometown, to be in the area in which you grew up, play for the franchise and that you grew up rooting for, probably. I'm not saying that he did, but I'm just saying probably. You grew up right there at the doorstep of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we'll see. I think Tyler Boyd would probably be smart to really evaluate that and look at all the positives that could come out of it for him. And understand this, if you're Tyler Boyd, you come into the Pittsburgh Steelers lineup and you do really well, and just say for some chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers make it to an AFC championship game, win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson, Tyler Boyd, you instantly become a legend forever in the city of Pittsburgh, man. And Tyler Boyd would cement that legacy instantly and be a guy that could do no wrong in the city of Pittsburgh. They would worship him there, and that would last an eternity, last forever. And if you're Tyler Boyd, maybe that comes into play a little bit too, looking at how the Steelers are really gearing up for the 2024 season, and maybe that excites you if you're Tyler Boyd. But we'll see, guys. Tyler Boyd again was offered that contract, didn't feel like it was enough, and hasn't taken the deal. So we'll see if maybe he does here ahead of the draft get a little bit sense and say, man, I better get signed up. This is a very deep wide receiver draft, and I may be just on the outside looking in, getting no money by the time this is all said and done, and teams draft their wide receivers. Maybe people aren't going to be looking for me, man, because I'm a little bit older. So we'll see how Tyler Boyd and that situation all unfolds for your Pittsburgh Steelers. But I do want to talk about also Cameron Sutton. I actually didn't hear about this because I wasn't paying attention to it that greatly. We did talk about it a lot on Steel City Live, our live show that happens Monday through Friday, which you won't want to miss tonight's episode. We got Merrill Hodge on. But anyway, I was watching some things, watching some channels that I like to support, and Steelers Nation Australia, Mark was talking about Cam Sutton turned himself in, so I had heard that for the first time from him, and I wanted to throw that in my morning upload here, that Cameron Sutton did turn himself in to the Hillsboro County Sheriff's Department, in case you haven't heard yet or didn't know like I didn't, but he did, so he is alive and well, and we'll see exactly what happened and let the judicial system play out here. Also, I did some content yesterday on Rashee Rice. He was involved in a major vehicle accident. According to many now, reports are coming out that he was racing a Corvette and I think a Ferrari or something like that. There was two cars, one of them being registered to Rice. They ended up getting in an accident. The drivers fled the scene supposedly. Now this is all hearsay, guys. I don't know how true it is. So we'll watch that story too and continue to see how it all plays out. But again, guys, just things still going on in the NFL. It's a never-ending news cycle, and it's just so crazy to just sit back and watch in an off season and really be detailed and see just how much really happens and how big of a machine the NFL is in terms of just year-round news. It's absolutely just crazy. But again, guys, thank you so much for joining me here on our Monday edition. Again, I hope everybody had an awesome Easter weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. And also tonight, don't forget, guys, Merrill Hodge live. We are going to talk about as much stuff as I can possibly talk about. We're going to take a couple questions from the chat, but I want you guys to really come loud and proud and show Merrill exactly how we do things here on Mic Drop Sports in the show Steel City Live. And don't forget, that'll be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can only find it here on Mic Drop Sports. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button for all our daily content. That would be so awesome. And don't forget, throw that 99 cents down a month and grab yourself a Mic Drop Mafia member. It's super fun and get you some perks. So until next time, guys, until tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'll be joined live by Steeler and Chicago Bear, Merrill Hodge. And we'll get to talk a lot of stuff with Merrill here tonight. So you won't want to miss that. So until tonight, guys, peace.